Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I'm your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. How do I do that? I taste and review the wines in front of you, and then it is entirely up to you. It's your palate. Hopefully you're figuring out mine. Well, yesterday I did an episode on Australian wines. I'm making it a campaign maybe over the next couple of months because I don't want to do a huge amount of shows all at once about Australia. But I think they've gotten a bum rap because of Yellowtail, Lindemans, all that. And, I'm going to show that there are wines from Australia that are worth the dollars and worth drinking. Interesting, I went on Twitter just to ask a few of my wine guys how they felt about the decline in Australian wine sales. Joe Roberts thought that high-end Australian wines were seeing a rise in sales. I'm assuming that's East Coast. It's certainly in my store. We're on the West Coast. It is just not happening. I have the Almond Raw in my case. I have Carnival of Love and the other one from Duker, Carnival of Love and Enchanted Pathway. I'm sitting on a couple of vintages. They just do not move. 10 years ago, that would have not been the case. They would have been long gone. So, I'm hoping Joe knows something I don't know. He certainly has, he's in the high-end category, that my friends, Mr. Roberts. Tastes a lot of high-end wines, probably more than I do, although I'm not positive about that. Anyway, we're going to take a break today, maybe tomorrow, from Australian wines. And this time I thought, in 2014 I do a list called Stan's Top 40 Wines Under $20. So I thought I'd bring out my top 3 wines from that list. And then, because one of them I'm not going to taste because I just did an episode on it not too long ago, we are going to taste my pick of the month and talk a little bit about that. So, without further ado, number 2 on my list was the Tempest Cellars 2012 Riesling Ancient Lakes AVA. That's a fairly recent AVA out of Washington State. Evergreen Vineyard, owned by the Milbrandt boys, and I love whites from Evergreen Vineyard. It just has such an interesting... if you're one of those guys that debate terroir, which I don't get that at all. To this day I don't understand that. This is a testament to terroir. You can tell when a wine comes from Evergreen Vineyards. It has very distinct characteristics. So I'll give you a little close-up of this. This runs in at between $16 and $17. Let's see if we can get it. And just Joe Forrest is a winemaker. I don't know why. Is this thing not focusing for you guys? It doesn't seem like it's focusing very well. There we go. Anyway, Joe Forrest worked at Seven Hills for a while, was the assistant winemaker at Dunham until he started off on his own. And I'm sure he's doing some other stuff besides his winery. But Joe Forrest is a hard worker. He used to come up to the islands every year and visit everybody and bring you his wines. Now he has a distributor, Venom Imports, out of Seattle. So now he probably doesn't have to work as hard as he used to, but the guy is an animal when it comes to working, and he makes some incredible wines. I like all of his wines. I'm not a huge fan of the label, but some people like it because it's old-fashioned. Let's see what we get on the nose. This was number 3. This was number 2 on my top 40 under 20. Just has an incredible, I get a little coconut and I get some pineapple notes. It's a little cold, like I said. I usually review my wines like I feel the customer will drink them, and I believe winemakers make their wines with that understanding. I get that. The cool thing about evergreens, you get that real pine needle, sort of pine sol. Not pine sol, there's no chemicals there. That pine needle is like you're sticking your face right in a pine tree. Very distinct pine notes on this one, along with the pineapple. You get a little apple, a little bit of coconut meat coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. So this is what you'd consider an off-dry Riesling, and I don't know about you guys out there, but Riesling is a huge thing for me. I love Riesling. I love the complexities of Riesling. I love the wide range of Rieslings that you can find. This is incredible. It has a nice kind of a ripe apple notes on it, but it finishes with this good acidity. It's I would consider it a off-dry Riesling. There's sweetness in there, but there's a lot of like lemon notes coming through, like lemon curd, the actual lemon fruit itself. And again, what I love about Evergreen, you get that, it's not pine needle, it's more like, it turns into like a fir needle sort of thing on the palate, but there's a nice ripeness on the mid palate, a little bit of creaminess, but then, like I said, it finishes dry. There's an excellent minerality on this wine. This strikes a nice balance between acidity and fruit. It's got good acid. It's not super cutting, but it's still there. It's making my mouth water. The finish is forever on this wine. It has just a touch of petrol for you Riesling geeks out there like myself. For whatever reason, I don't know, we like that petrol, that rubber boot thing that comes on some Rieslings, especially from Germany. Wow, it is cutting on the finish, especially when you swallow it. It just finishes so sharply, it's so defined on the palate. And it has just enough sweetness to appeal to some people who want a little bit of sweetness. It could go with Asian food, with spicy foods. This could go with a ton of things. It could go with seafood. It could go with shellfish. I'm telling you, this is a diverse wine, very well made. And I believe on my, I gave it an A-. I'm sticking with that. I love this wine. I love his Riesling. I love Evergreen. Great stuff. If you can find this, which I think it's out there, look for it. Number 3 on my list, I forgot to show you this. I'm not going to review it simply because I just reviewed it a couple of episodes ago on one of my Christmas episodes for Prime Rib. This is the Casa Veneronia Appassimento from Veneto, Italy, and it is quite a bit of Merlot. I believe it was 60% Merlot in this one. Here's the label. You might recognize it. I've just been rolling with this baby like crazy. See now, it's doing fine. It rolls in at $12. You can get it between $12 and $16. Incredible wine. Appassimento means that they pass the fruit over the wineskins. I didn't mention that before because I didn't really look up that word. And one of my buddies came in and said, "Hey, Stan, you didn't talk about the Appassimento, the passing over the skins." I said, "That's because I didn't look it up." I was trying to find the winery. It was very difficult for me to find it. This is out of Italy, 2013. Great bottle of wine. If you can find this baby, and I know it's out there. It's distributed by American Northwest, excuse me, importers out of Seattle. Find this wine. It is incredible. You know, when they pass it, so they pass the juice over some old grape skins, maybe dried out grape skins, giving it that sort of Amarone feel. Just a killer bottle of wine. Love that stuff. Okay, let's move to my number 1 wine on my top 40 under $20. And this one just blew me away the first time I tried it. It is from the Rhone Valley. Côte du Rhône Village is the AOP, and this sub-region is Massif du Chaux. Côte du Rhône Village, 2011, Domaine de la Rangeard. And I'll give you a picture of the label. There we go, good job. This rolls in at $18, excuse me. $18, okay. And this is 60% Grenache, 20% Syrah, 10% Cinsault, 5 Mourvedre, and 5 Carignan. And in this region, Côte du Rhône Village, they have to have at least 50% Grenache, and these guys got it. This is an incredible. These guys are the same guys that. What was that? These guys also own a very well-known Chateauneuf Pop, and I'm just, for some reason, it's eluding me. But they have a good pedigree in the Rhone Valley. Just incredible. You get like these baking spices, plums coming through. A little bit of tobacco. Hits of tar, just barely. Just a touch of violets coming through. And getting some currants also, and just a touch of strawberry on the back end. Great nose on this wine. Anytime I get the aromatics like this, we always hope that the palate, really follows through. Doesn't always, as you guys know. But in this case, I know it does because, well, it's my #1 wine under $20 for 2014. Let's see what we got on the palate. Amazing intensity and complexity on the palate. I mean, the fruit is restrained. It doesn't go it's not powerhouse. It's got the mineralities. It's got the baked earth thing going on that you expect from Old World. But it has like the violets come through, the plums, the currants. I get a little bit of strawberry on the back end. Big time on the violets for sure. And I really like the tobacco and tar that kind of back up all that fruit. And then right at the end, well actually in the mid palate to the end, there's this white pepper, black pepper sort of thing going on. It finishes like very powerful, but it has all those earthy elements to it, that kind of a little bit of leather, definitely minerality, crushed rock, violets, tar, with the fruit. The fruit's there. And then the finish just keeps going on and on. When I pick a wine, when I do my top 40 lists, I believe that 1, 2, and 3, maybe even 4, could have been interchangeable. But this one for $18, you could lay this down easily for 10 to 15 years, and it will just get better. I just know it. I mean, as a wine guy, you just get used to these wines. It's got good acid, good fruit, good tannins. They're all there. It's well built. Good harmony, great bottle of wine, definitely an A- wine. Okay, last but not least, the reason I have 2 of these because one of these doesn't have a label, and that's the one I took to open. This is my pick for January, my first pick of the month down at the store for 2015. The Fincas di Landaluce Crianza Rioja 2011. This is from Rioja Alavesa, and we've talked about this, the 3 regions of Rioja: Rioja Alavesa, Rioja Alta, and Rioja Baja. This rolls in at $13, and it is 20 to 40-year-old vines, 100% Tempranillo. But the cool thing about this wine is it is done in 100% French oak, which is really uncommon in Rioja. They love American oak there, and this one is done with 100% French oak. And I believe that is why it is so different from many Tempranillos that I've tried. Let's see what we get on the nose. Picking the pick of the month is tough because that wine has to be a great QPR, quality to price ratio. It has to stand out against a lot of other wines that are stacked in the store. In other words, I have the Appassimento stacked at the store. It does really well. Does this wine compare or beat it as far as quality? Because this is my pick of the month. I could easily want Appassimento, but I've been selling so much of it, I feel like it's a little redundant to make it my pick of the month. It may fall down and be there one of these days. I'm always tempted. Let's see what we get on the nose. A lot of baking spices on this, and I attribute that probably to the French oak. Tobacco for sure. Currants coming through. A little bit of oak. I can smell the oak notes on it, but they're certainly not overpowering. Get a little tar hit, currants, a little baked earth coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. After all these wines I tasted, this one is just unbelievably incredible. It has this great like power on the palate, but it's restrained. I mean, you don't feel like you're getting like a big hit in the face with fruit, but there's fruit there, red flowers all day, and the baking spices. I just get this pepper and cinnamon, almost like cinnamon powder. Maybe a little bit of nutmeg. Just all these baking spices coming through with the currant and dark cherry notes coming through. I even get a little bit of iron on the back end, just a touch of like iron. Leather, there's a little grip, a little seriousness on the back end, making it perfect with grilled meats. If you're having a rib steak or something like that, man, pull this baby out. It'd be great with stinky cheese. This is, it's so funny because my last pick of the month last month was $10. I sold just a boatload of that wine. There I go with the word boatload. I've been told I use that word a lot. But, this is $12.99, $13. And I'm saying, it is well worth the extra $3. This is an incredible wine. Again, this one will lay down 10 to 15 years. I am really deeply impressed with this wine. I have to go A- on this one. I like it a lot. It's incredible. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching. If you're a subscriber and you have friends, refer my show to your friends. Ask them to subscribe. Even my buddy, one of my buddies that doesn't, very shy about doing anything on social media he subscribed to this channel. I guess I need 500 subscribers to connect it to this or that, or be able to put the subscribe button, which is kind of silly. YouTube needs to rethink that one. Anyway, thanks for watching, and remember, wine is not super complicated. It is fermented grape juice. Drink it. Enjoy it. Understand your palate, what you like. Don't let anybody ever tell you what you should like. And always be open-minded and try new things. If we keep doing that together, we can take the snob out of wine.